we have a very interesting conversation. We have parenting this morning and with Mr. Femi Shofuluwe, who is a passionate youth educator with 2 decades of experience in teens and youth counseling. Now, we'll be discussing gender roles and stereotypes, how to raise children who are free from gender bias. Welcome back to Wake Up Nigeria, sir.
Good morning.
It's always a pleasure having you here. All right, so now I think this is a very interesting conversation. Now, how to raise children free from gender bias. So now give us, what's the foundation of this conversation?
Well, the foundation for this conversation is because we are in Africa. That is a big, is a big issue, is a big ground to start with. A lot of things that is permissible in Africa is actually detestable across the globe.
Okay.
And gender bias is one of the major things.
I think before we move forward, let's actually first define gender bias, so everyone is carried along with the conversation.
Gender bias, I think, I would rather just put it as having a specific expectation from a specific gender and, stereotyping that these are the things that you should do because you are this gender. You should not be found in this area because of your gender. And in actual sense, the gender wall is broken down across the globe.
Okay.
Probably only in Africa.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about this, right? So we're talking about raising kids free from gender bias. Now, would you actually say it's possible, whether, internationally or locally, to actually raise kids that are absolutely free from gender bias?
We can reduce the effect, but I don't think we can absolutely, raise kids that is 100% free of gender bias, because even in the developed world we're talking about, you still see some people make some derogatory statement that shows that they have gender, problem.
Yeah, gender issues. So what would you say are the most prevalent gender biases that we need to actually first erase or address?
Well, I think first is that...
Let's talk about home now, Nigeria, Africa, where we are.
The first is that there are things that a man can do that women cannot do.
Okay.
We need to erase that.
But there are things that men can do that women can do.
Cite me an example.
There are things that women can do that men can do, right?
Obviously, that may be biological related.
Exactly.
But if
so that's what I'm saying. So let's talk about the ones that are private.
Obviously, there are things we can't change.
Yes, of course.
Because they are nature, they are biology.
Exactly.
But apart from that, when it comes, that's why we said roles, right? When it comes to roles, the world is shattered.
Okay. So give me examples of these roles over the years, and you think, okay, at least we've progressed from the world, from in the West.
I remember when this our superstar, Asisa Toshuala, she granted an interview many years ago, and I know what she had to go through to become a footballer. Male counterpart will not go through half of that.
Half of that, wow.
To become a footballer.
Okay, yeah, so for instance now, so you're talking about in the case of career and profession, right? There are certain careers that you say, okay, fine, are male-dominated or female-dominated, and like the gender shouldn't switch.
No matter who dominates any career, if your child wants to do anything, the first thing you need to do is to give them support and allow them exploit it and check what they can get done in that field.
Okay, so that's actually the main thing. Okay, so now moving away from profession and career, of course, definitely, once you have a brain and you have a desire and passion for something, there's nothing that anyone shouldn't be allowed to explore professionally and career-wise. So now, give me other examples, other areas now.
Before I cite another example, but I just want us to know that if a child says they want to do something, don't limit them because of their gender.
Okay.
Allow them exploit first. Check their interests. In fact, they may be bringing something to the table in that field or in that career path that has never been there before, just because it has been dominated by a particular gender.
Okay.
You look at the literature world in Nigeria and Africa today. Someone like Ngozi Adichie, she's bringing some things to the table that we've never seen before. That the like of Ole Soyinka can only imagine. They've not even scratched it. And it's because she was given that leverage to explore it and then express herself in that field. If you want to raise a child that is gender bias free, first you need to remove expectation that is gender based.
Okay, great. So now let's bring it back home. Now people have kids, they're growing kids, right? I think all of these things actually even happen right from even the toys that they buy them. So now, since we're talking about raising children, so now, are you suggesting that we should not buy boys football anymore and buy girls doll and cooking sets? So how can we start from that basic level?
If your girl decide to play ball, please buy for her.
Okay.
That's where we are going.
So parents should not, the whole pink and blue, the whole cars
you know
and
that
dolls.
Until I think 1970, blue actually was female color, while pink was male color. These things are mental problem. They don't even have anything to do with gender.
Problem.
They don't have anything to do with gender.
Okay.
It's the way we perceive things and the way society paints some things to us. How did we come to agree and accept that blue is for male?
Okay.
And
so
pink is for female.
All right. So we actually have to go now, but this last question quickly. So how do we actually make sure that we don't go the extreme? For instance, now, is one thing to allow your kids to intertwine, another thing for your kids to say, okay, fine, today I don't feel like a girl anymore. I don't feel like a boy.
No,
Would you say that is extreme?
You don't push them.
You don't push
them. Right? You don't push them to be free to the extent where they are even willing to go.
Okay.
And then when we talk about changing gender and everything, you see, I don't know if this is actually the time to address this. It's actually a mental problem that needs to be fixed. It's a disease that needs to be fixed.
Okay, on that note, we actually have to go. Thank you so much, sir. Always a pleasure having you here. We'll have you next week again, where we'll continue the conversation.
Hopefully. Interesting.
All right. Still so much more happening right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Do stay with us. We're going on a break. We'll be right back.